Okay, so I finished the first act with the Barbarian on Diablo 4. I wanted to give some of my opinions about my experience so far. I'm not going to give my total rating of the game yet until I play the other two, or maybe all of them next weekend. But I will say so far that it's so far so good. First day server issues were obviously a glaring problem. A lot of people were upset with that, but today I actually didn't have a queue, so it was a pretty good experience in my opinion. I played it on stream a little bit yesterday, had a kind of shaky experience with all the servers and everything like everybody else did, but then today had a great stream. You can go and look at some more gameplay besides this if you want to see some more of the Barbarian there. I got the Barb I think up to like level 18 or so. I'll probably, make sure I get that wolf pack or whatever next weekend by leveling them up to 20, but for now I'm going to move on to the rogue and the sorceress, try to get them up to a decent level at least so I can just see how they feel. So far from what I've seen, it looks like the rogue and the sorceress are a lot more powerful than the barbarian. Maybe that might just be a case of like early game, and then once you get more gear and once you get all your like ultimates and everything with the barb, it might be a different story. There's also apparently a technique or something that's unlocked at level 7 that's available for the sorceress and the rogue, but I don't think the barbarian gets access to it in the beta. But for that final boss in the beta, that one was kind of tedious with the barb, with having to dodge all like the puddles of AoE and stuff, and then like the necromancer attacks that he was sending at you, like with those little rolls of blood or whatever they're called. But yeah, it was overall a pretty fun experience. I think the combat felt really good. It felt like weighty. It felt like you were actually hitting something when you were hitting the enemies. I did notice it does feel a little bit slower than Diablo 3 and Diablo 2, but at the same time it didn't feel like excessively slow. It didn't feel any slower than like Diablo 2, for instance, when you're an early game character with like low stamina and things of that nature. It wasn't that kind of situation. So overall I had a really good experience. I think the Barbarian has a lot of different potential ways to play it. I think that Barb might actually wind up being a better PvP player than PvM, but that's yet to be determined in terms of what happens long term with the game, how the Barb plays after level 25, after you get him completely maxed out, all of that type of stuff. But there was a lot of different types of skills that you could use and different benefits. The skill tree is actually pretty vast, but not super complex. It's not like as complex as something like Path of Exile, but it's also like a little bit more complex than like Diablo 2. It's definitely more complex than Diablo 3. But overall I had a good experience with it. I would say so far for my first playthrough using the barb, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. Maybe because of the servers I might take extra point off, but I'm satisfied with how they improved it the next day, and I hope that next weekend during the open beta there's no problems, as well as on launch of the game. That's really going to be crucial for them to make sure that we have a smooth launch of the game. We don't want another Overwatch 2 launch or another D2R launch in terms of the server situations. So all that said, I'll catch you on the next one. I'm going to maybe do this about the sorceress, about the rogue as well, maybe, or I might just wait, play with those, and then give you like my first impressions of the game in general. But this is just my thoughts after playing as the Barbarian. I'll definitely make more videos in the future showing more in-depth things about the Barbarian and different builds and all of that type of stuff. I just wanted to put out a video giving my opinion on my first impressions about this character. Hope you enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next one.